Thank you, Lonnie, for your question asking for clarification on today's video. I'm going to do a quick response. I am home and cash, so forgive the look, but I'm not sure how urgent this question is. So you ask about the transition between a forward lock and an outside spin. You can't do these back to back in WALTZ or QUICKSTEP, so I'm not sure exactly what your pattern is, but I'm going to address that first, kind of show you a visual and then show you a different ways that you possibly could be joining these figures. Okay, so first of all, I talked about in today's video the vector. The vector will be the direction that you're going with your body flight down the floor. So for example, this, my vector force, is directly forward and my partner's on my arm. Secondly, the lock step as well as the outside spin are outside of partner. Okay, so that's why these are more advanced silver steps for that outside spin. So when we first start to dance, our shoulders and our vector alignment are identical. For example, a box step. And I'll dance that while I'm showing this. Shoulders and feet aligned. Shoulders and feet aligned. More advanced dancing, we add outside of partner position. Now my vector force is different than my shoulder alignment, otherwise called CBM. I'm going to call it shoulder or hip alignment. That makes it a little easier to visualize. So while my vector force is going one direction, my shoulders are to my partner. And I'll show what that looks like in a forward lock. And actually, let me put this down. Again, excuse the background. I'm just in the entryway of my house. Forward lock, vector force forward, shoulders to the partner. And then I'll switch to closed and then switch to outside partner for probably a natural turn or whatever you're doing out of there, okay? And so the common problem is, as we first learn outside of partner steps, we try to do outside of partner with everything going one direction, and that essentially armpits your lady, so she's hanging out beside you, very uncomfortable. And follows, we tend to do the same thing when we very first learn outside of partner. To make this a little easier, make sure to add stretches while you're at home, not dancing, just to get a little more flexibility in your core. It'll make that easier for you. Okay, so that part of the instruction will help most people. For you specifically, Lonnie, you'd mentioned an outside spin. So if you have this in your WALTZ, if you're doing silver WALTZ syllabus, I think you're talking about a back lock. So back lock and then outside spin. Maybe that's what you meant. And I can address the back lock in a different video. This video today was actually about the forward lock. You could possibly do that. I'm just outside of syllabus. Perhaps you could do some sort of forward lock into an open natural, into a back lock. I guess that would work. I doubt that's what we're talking about. I think you're just thinking about a back lock. And I know the book, in terms of the locks, does not talk about inside of edge. I highly recommend when you're dancing, at least it helps my students and the people I see in my area of the world, if they think inside edge when they land, because they tend to overshoot the target here and kind of dump the side. If you stop yourself with the edges, so think inside, the vector force will push you onto that flat right away anyway. If you think flat, you're gonna kind of end up here. And I certainly don't want to think outside edge, because then I lock this way and it's even worse. And I would say that that problem is probably even more common. So I hope that answers your question. If it hasn't, go ahead and post another question below. And if I have time, I'll post a little mini video here in my house. If not, I'll address it next time I am with a student in the studio. So see you tomorrow.